UFC, the world leader in MMA. Experience it on Fox Sports 2.
Once again, the UFC is back in Brazil. This time, the coastal city of Natal welcomes two legends of the sport for the rematch of a lifetime. Mauricio Shogun Rua has his eyes set on revenge after an epic display of resilience and heart, coming up just short in a 2011 5-round classic against that man, Dan Henderson. Hendo got his hand raised in the victory the first time around, but tomorrow night they'll step into the octagon for round 6. And in the co-main event, Cesar Ferreira battles CB Dalloway. All the action goes down tomorrow, but today they make it official. This is the UFC weigh-in on Fox Sports 2. They are fired up and ready to go south of the equator, but we are coming to you live from our Fox Sports studio in Los Angeles, California. Hello, everybody. I'm Karen Bryant alongside my UFC Tonight co-host Chael Sonnen and Kenny Florian. Guys, it's a rare Saturday weigh-in. We have got a great card tomorrow.
Yeah, listen, and in the main event, we have a rematch. Dan Henderson versus Shogun Rua. Look, in fighting, there's only two reasons you get rematches: title fights and classics, and this one is a classic.
Yeah, well, their fight from last year was not only one of the best fights of the year, it was one of the best fights in UFC history, a back-and-forth war. This is one of those fights from a movie. I mean, if you were watching this in a movie, you go, there's no way that would ever happen. This fight happened. It was back and forth. Insane. It
was absolutely insane. And guys, I want to talk some more about it. Shogun Rua, Dan Henderson, part 2. It did go all 5 rounds the last time. Dan dominated early. Shogun came on really strong later in the game. Some people even think he should have gotten a 10-8 round. Do you think he's going to come out starting a lot faster this time?
Well, he certainly needs to. He has to make sure of a couple things. First of all, he find that range early, Karen. He has to make sure that he gets off on his punches and establishes his jab right from the beginning. And not only that, he has to make sure he doesn't back up straight against the cage like he did against Dan Henderson, because he was getting caught with big right hands, a lot of uppercuts, because he kept backing straight up. Needs to find angles out there.
You know, I've trained with Dan Henderson since the 90s, and I want to remind our viewers, Dan Henderson is a 2-time Olympian in wrestling. Now, the relevance there is he was out-grappled. Overall, in this fight with Shogun, the first one, Dan Henderson got out-grappled. He needs to change that. He needs to pick his shots a little bit better. He's got the capability of finishing this fight, but he's got to stay off the mat.
All right, well, they can both finish the fight early. Of course, Dan Henderson has finished 11 opponents in the first round. Shogun has finished 16.
Wow.
My goodness. Well, both guys will have to dig down deep and tap into something special in order to match the intensity and drama from the first fight. But when they do finally step into the octagon tomorrow night, it will be a pivotal moment in both men's careers. For more on that, let's send it down to our own Heidi Andral in Natal, Brazil.
Thank you very much, Karen. In tonight's main event, it is former UFC light heavyweight champion Mauricio Rua and Dan Henderson, who is a former Strikeforce and Pride title holder, who will meet for a rematch of one of the most epic fights in company history. It was Dan Henderson who got the unanimous decision back in 2011. Henderson enters this fight on a 3-fight losing streak. Now, when asked if that would affect his approach, he said no, he's not changing anything, but he certainly doesn't want it to be a 4th. Henderson, 43 years old, the oldest active fighter on the UFC roster, and many wonder if this will be the grizzled vet's final fight of his career. That certainly adds to the intrigue. His opponent, Mauricio Rua, well, he's excited for the rematch. He said it should have been a 5-round draw back in 2011. He's happy to be fighting here at home in Brazil. That has been very successful for him. He has gone 4-0 when fighting in Brazil in his career. He knows he has to finish this one. He has not been successful when it's went to the judges. In fact, he's 0-3 when it has. Will it be Dan Henderson or Mauricio Rua? Will it live up to the hype of UFC 139? Well, whatever the outcome, we are certainly looking forward to this matchup between two very respected veterans. Guys, we'll send it back to you.
Thank you, Heidi. Now keep it locked right here on Fox Sports 2, because when we come back, Shogun Rua, Dan Henderson, Cesar Ferreira, CB Dalloway, and the rest of tomorrow's UFC Fight Night Warriors will hit the scale down in Brazil. Stay with us. Welcome back to the UFC weigh-in show. It is time for the fighters to hit the scale. Now, one storyline to look out for, we're hearing that Ronny Marks may have some difficulty making weight today, so keep your eyes out on that. We're going to send it right down, though, to Natal, Brazil, where our announcer, Hodges Lima, will get things started for both our English and Portuguese-speaking audience.
Salve, salve Natal! Hello everybody around the world! Aqui estão as estrelas do UFC. Sejam todos bem-vindos e vamos lá para mais uma cerimônia de pesagem oficial do UFC. Essa edição, UFC Fight Night, Shogun versus Henderson 2. Vamos lá para a pesagem da primeira luta na categoria peso-pena. Vamos se enfrentar GODOFREDO, PEPEY e NOAD, LAHAT. O primeiro a vir para a balança é NOAD.
NOAD LAHAT is only the second Israeli-born fighter to join the UFC roster. He is 7-0 in his pro career. The 29-year-old, a member of the Israeli Defense Forces. He's a black belt in judo and jiu-jitsu, and he makes his debut here in Natal.
$65,800 para Mr. NOAD LAHAT. Vem aí, seu adversário, GODOFREDO
Pepe, who is a former Ultimate Fighter Brazil competitor, loves to dye his hair pink and loves to submit his opponents. This guy is very dangerous on the mat, especially off his back, and he may very well be fighting for his UFC career here against LAHAT.
$65,800 para GODOFREDO PEPEY. Confirmada, portanto, a primeira luta na categoria peso-pena. NOAD LAHAT e GODOFREDO PEPEY. Vamos avançando, vamos para a segunda luta, card preliminar, UFC Shogun versus Henderson 2. Vem aí, FRANCIMAR, Bodão, Barroso contra Hans Stringer. Primeiro a caminhar para a balança é Mr. Hans Stringer.
This Wednesday on UFC Tonight, middleweight champion Chris Weidman and title challenger Lyoto Machida join us live in studio to discuss their championship clash. UFC Tonight is Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, only on Fox Sports 1.
$92,500 para Mr. Hans Stringer. Vem aí, seu oponente, FRANCIMAR, Barroso, Bodão.
Starting Monday, the undisputed king of sports talk comes to America's new sports network. The Mike Francesa Show premieres Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern, only on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. On BARROSO.
full form. 92,5 para Francimar. Barroso, Bodão! Aí a segunda luta, na divisão dos meio pesados, Francimar, Bodão, Hans, Stringer. Vamos avançando, vamos para a terceira luta. Card preliminar do UFC, Shogun versus Henderson 2. Vamos para a pesagem de Kenny Robertson contra THIAGO, PEPETUO, Bodão. O primeiro a caminhar para a balança é Mr. Kenny Robertson.
Not only does Kenny Robertson have a great first name, this guy is excellent on the mat. Back at UFC 157, he hit a beautiful knee stretch submission that we have not seen before from that back mount position. Look for him to take this fight to the mat against PERPETUO.
$171. 78 quilos para Mr. Kenny Robertson. Vem aí o seu oponente, THIAGO, PEPETUO.
Tomorrow night, it's a special Sunday night edition of the UFC on Fox Sports 1 with a rematch of one of the best fights of all time. As Shogun Rua battles Dan Henderson, Shogun Hendo 2 on UFC Fight Night is tomorrow only on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
$170, 170 libras, 77 quilos e 600 para Mr. THIAGO, PEPETUO, Bodão. Aí, portanto, confirmada a terceira luta, card preliminar do UFC Fight Night, Shogun versus Henderson 2, THIAGO, Bodão contra Kenny Robertson. Vamos lá, avançando para a quarta luta, categoria peso mosca. Vem aí, JUSSIER, FORMIGA contra Scott Jorgensen. Primeiro a caminhar para a balança, Mr. Scott Youngus Jorgensen.
Scott Jorgensen has been wrestling since the third grade. To put that in perspective, I was still eating crayons in the third grade. You may also remember him from his title tilt in the WEC, where he took former champion Dominic Cruz to the distance.
$56,700 para Scott Jorgensen. Vem aí o seu oponente, JUSSIER, FORMIGA.
Look for Formiga to do some serious work on the ground. He is a four-time Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu world champion. 4 of his last 5 wins, as you can see, they're by submission. He is also a judo black belt.
$56,700 para JUSSIER, FORMIGA. Aí, portanto, a luta confirmada, categoria peso mosca, JUSSIER, FORMIGA contra Scott Jorgensen. Vamos avançando, vamos para a categoria peso médio, a divisão dos médios. Vão se enfrentar agora RONY Marques contra THIAGO Marreta. O primeiro a caminhar para o octógono é o atleta Thiago Santos Marreta.
This season of The Ultimate Fighter continues on Fox Sports 1 as fighters from Australia and Canada go head-to-head with a UFC contract on the line. The Ultimate Fighter Nations Australia versus Canada is Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern, only on Fox Sports 1.
83 para Thiago Marreta. Vem aí o seu oponente, RONY
Rony Marquez enters the octagon in a middleweight battle of Brazilians here in his birthplace of Natal. He's record 14-2. Now his 7-fight win streak was snapped late last year when he was knocked out by Yoel Romero. He looks to get back on top here against Brazilian THIAGO Santos.
All right, gentlemen, we said earlier that he may have trouble making weight. What will that mean, Kenny, if he misses?
Well, if he does not make weight, they're going to have to take 20% of his purse, which is pretty significant. Wow, that's 5 pounds off.
Yeah,
or 4, I guess.
He's got 1 hour to lose some weight, but I don't believe they'll let him lose that much.
Yeah, at this point, 4 pounds is going to be tough to do.
So that means 20% of his purse will now go to his opponent.
That is extremely unprofessional. I'm very surprised to see from a champion like him, a winner of the Ultimate Fight. Is very surprising to me. I wonder what the backstory is.
And a local, you know, a lot of time when people travel, they have trouble making weight, but it's a home game.
That's a lot of weight.
Aí, portanto, confirmada mais uma luta na categoria
2 kilograms.
Divisão dos médios, Thiago Marreta contra RONY Marquez. Vamos lá, vamos avançando, vamos para a última luta do card preliminar, UFC Shogun versus Henderson 2. Vem aí, Diego Brandão contra Will Chope na categoria peso pena. O primeiro a caminhar para a balança, Mr. Will the Kill Chope.
Do not adjust your TV. That is actually a 6'4" featherweight. Will Chope, the tallest featherweight in UFC history. He got his start on Guam when he was actually stationed there for the Air Force. Now, when his tour of duty was over, he moved to Thailand to pursue fighting full time. Now, he will have nearly a 9-inch reach advantage against his opponent, Diego Brandao, in this one.
$146 para Mr. Will Chope, 66 e 200. E seu oponente, vem aí, Diego "DB" Brandao.
Never has there been a loose cannon like Diego Brandao since the late Brian Pillman. Look, don't take your eyes off this guy, not even today on that weigh-in stage. And if you like fights that get finished early, this is a guy you're going to want to keep your eye on.
$144. 65 e 400 para o Diego Brandão. Aí está, portanto, confirmada a última luta do card preliminar. Categoria peso pena. Diego Brandão, campeão da 14ª edição do The Ultimate Fighter. Will the Kill Chope. Vamos agora à primeira pesagem, a primeira luta do card principal do UFC Fight Night, Shogun versus Henderson 2. Vem aí, Holly Jason contra Steven SILER, categoria peso pena. O primeiro a vir para a balança é o Mr. Steven Super SILER.
Steven SILER turned 27 in February, but he's already had nearly a 9-year fight career. Over that 9-year span, he's fought nearly once every 4 months. He said it's actually his wife who tells everyone he's the UFC fighter. He just wants to be known as the nice guy next door.
$146. 66 e 200 para Steven SILER. E vem aí o seu oponente direto de Quixadá, RONY
You can call Ronny Jason 13-4. You could call him the Ultimate Fighter Brazil champion. You could call him the guy that had a close fight with our current champion, Renan Barão. Just don't call him Rony Bezerra.
$145, 65,800 para Mr. Ronny Jason. Confirmada, portanto, a primeira luta do card principal, categoria peso-pena, Ronny Jason, Steven SILER. Vamos avançando, vamos para a divisão dos leves. Vão se enfrentar Michel Trator contra MAIRBEK, TAISUMOV. O primeiro a caminhar para a balança é o Mr. MAIRBEK, TAISUMOV.
Fighting out of Vienna, Austria, TAISUMOV has finished his opponent in 20 of 21 wins. Also a competitor on the international stage. He is a jiu-jitsu champion in Austria, Slovakia, and the Czech Republic.
$155, 70 quilos e 300 gramas para o Mr. MAIRBEK, TAISUMOV. Vem aí o seu oponente, Michel Trator Prazeres.
The Brazilian Michel Prazeres made his debut in the UFC at 170 pounds, now fighting at 155 pounds. This excellent striker from Brazil is looking very, very tough in this division.
$155 para Mr. Michel Prazeres, 70 quilos e 300 gramas. Está confirmada, portanto, a terceira luta, card principal, UFC Fight Night, Shogun versus Henderson 2. Michel Prazeres contra MAIRBEK, TAISUMOV. Avançando para a divisão dos meio pesados, quarta luta, card principal. Vem aí, FABIO MALDONADO contra Gian Villante. O primeiro a caminhar para a balança, Mr. Gian Villante.
Gian Villante doesn't have a nickname, and he said you can't give yourself one. The one that's been floating around the gym lately, Heartthrob. He said only when the announcers here in Brazil say, man, that guy's hair is so good and he's so good looking, I have to call him Heartthrob, will it stick? So I guess it's up to John Anik and Brian Stan to determine his nickname.
204. 92,600 para Gian Villante. Vem aí o seu adversário, o caipira de aço. Senhoras e senhores, recebam Mr. Fábio Maldonado.
Fabio Maldonado is a former undefeated professional boxer, amassed a record of 22-0. He is very well known for his iron chin, his brutal body shots, and is one of the toughest guys in the UFC right now.
Para o Mr. Fábio Maldonado. Aí está confirmada, portanto, a terceira luta do card principal. Fábio Maldonado contra Gian Villante. Vamos avançando, vamos para a divisão.
Hello once again, Karen Bryant, Chael Sonnen, and Kenny Florian here in Los Angeles as we reset for the top 3 fights in tomorrow's card. The next matchup is in the lightweight division and pits Ultimate Fighter Brazil Season 2 winner Leonardo Santos versus Ultimate Fighter The Smashes winner Norman Park. First to the scale, Northern Ireland's own Norman Park.
Guys, Norman Park has been a professional mixed martial arts fighter since 2006. He is both an Irish wrestling and judo champion. He is an excellent striker, and as you mentioned, Karen, he is the Tough Smashes winner.
Yeah, I'm a fan of this guy. You know what I really like, guys, is his pace. He goes out there, goes really hard. When he's fighting, I feel like he really wants to win.
Great competitor.
Also been training with Dominic Cruz lately.
Well, let's not hold that against him now, guys. Let's say some nice things about him. Kidding, Dominic. Know you're watching. Appreciate the tweet earlier. All right, so Santos, guys, they had to call this guy the Streak. At one point in his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu competitive career, he went 5 years undefeated. Now, in mixed martial arts, he's 4 years and counting unbeaten.
155. 70 quilos e 300
I happened to be at both events where these young men were crowned the Ultimate Fighter champions. I have a really good interest in this fight. Look at them. They are ready.
That's
I wish I could say.
Look at Sean Shelby getting in the middle.
Get it, Sean.
The enforcer.
Park stood his ground.
Yeah, he did.
Park is in enemy territory, stood his ground.
Vamos ao co-main event. A penúltima luta do UFC Fight Night, Shogun versus Henderson 2. Vem aí, César Mutante contra CB Holloway. O primeiro a caminhar para a balança, Mr. CB de Holloway.
You know, guys, I've never really been a fan of the name CB. So I Google this guy, go to Wikipedia, I find out his first name is actually Clarence, and all of a sudden, CB's looking a little bit better to me. This guy, I believe, could go all the way to title contention. I really think he's that good. The problem is he doesn't always. You never know what CB's going to get in there. All-American wrestler.
184.
And at 184 pounds, that's that wrestling. That guy knows how to make weight. 2 pounds under. Good job, CB.
Well, there is the guy they call the mutant Mutanchi, Cesar Ferreira, who is a protege of the great Vitor Belfort, trains with Vitor over in Florida, down with the Black Zillions. Said he had a great camp. He is injury-free and ready to go. And look at this, guys. He is in tremendous shape.
$8,300 para o campeão da segunda edição do The Ultimate Fighter Brasil. Aí está, portanto, confirmada a penúltima luta. César Ferreira, mutante, contra CB, the Topperman, Holloway.
Now let's take a closer look at the two men in the main event, Shogun Rua and Dan Henderson.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. It's time!
Big right hand. Henderson looking to finish the fight.
Big shot by Shogun. He's hurt.
Big shots. Unbelievable.
Shogun's
covering up.
He's standing right in front of him. Oh! Wow. Full mount for Shogun. Hands in trouble. What a fight.
Hendo the winner by unanimous decision.
Without a doubt, one of the best fights ever in MMA.
First fight with Shogun was fight of the night, and this next fight, you know, it's going to be another chess match with a lot of action.
Man, they're firing away.
Eu vou ter que lutar muito concentrado, porque o Dan Henderson é um cara muito rápido, um cara que tem mão pesada. Então, com certeza, eu espero ser com a vitória hoje à noite.
When I picture in my head, I want to picture just like the last fight, be a little more aggressive, make sure I don't end up on bottom, and looking to finish him at the same time. There's no way he'll knock me out, finish me or submit me. It's just not going to happen.
Então, eu estou decidido a ter um novo cinturão do UFC. Esse é meu grande sonho, esse é meu grande desejo. Eu sei que não vai ser fácil. Eu preciso vencer o Dan Henderson.
That's a scary, scary dude, Mike.
I respect Shogun a great deal. He's a tough guy and a great fighter that's very well-rounded and dangerous everywhere, but I'm going to knock him silly.
His animal instincts and aggression are second to none.
E vamos nessa! Vamos para a pesagem da luta principal. Vem aí! Mr.
Two-time champion. 1992, he represented the United States in Greco-Roman wrestling. Came back in 1996 and did it again. Two-time Pride champion, light heavyweight and middleweight at the same time. Never been done before, guys. This is a true legend in MMA. He just signed a new contract, but every time he fights, it could be his last.
91,5 para Mr. Dan Henderson. Senhoras e senhores, recebam o seu oponente, Maurício Shogun.
Right there, you are looking at legend number 2 from this main event. This is a guy who loves to finish. Look at that right there, 19 wins by KO or TKO. You know, guys, when he won the Pride Grand Prix several years ago, he was considered the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. Not only that, this is a guy who is also a former champion in the UFC at 205 pounds, a true legend right there.
Kenny, that's about as lean as I've seen Shogun look.
He looks great.
Maybe 5 to 6 years I haven't seen him look that lean.
E aí está, não percam amanhã a grande revanche entre Dan Henderson e Maurício Shogun Rua. UFC Fight Night, Shogun versus Henderson.
All right, it is official now. The UFC Fight Pass prelims start at 4 p.m. Eastern exclusive.